Vicky, also known as DragonflySoars. It is January 7th and about 4:40. This was our first podcast of 2013, and as you can probably tell, I don't feel good. So I'm hoping to keep this one kind of short, but I really wanted to show you some things and do a couple thank yous. So, as you saw already, this is called Bonding with the Zombie Flu. Right after Tiff left on the Thursday after Christmas. That evening, best friend got sick. He went from being pretty fine to all of a sudden not feeling well at all. By Friday I had been fine. I went to the doctor's for an annual checkup thing, felt fine, and that evening I was sick, and by Saturday my son was sick. We all got the flu, and it came with the fever, the cold, the sweat, the aches, the pains, the cough. I'm still getting over the cough. If I cough during this episode, I will try to cut it out. But it was not good. And part of the time, my son and I were just like curled up under blankets and sleeping and watching totally garbage TV. And then he suggested we download the Walking Dead series on the iPad and watch that. So I was like, you know what? Sure. So the first season's only about 6 episodes, and then the second season's a full 22, 23 episode. So for a couple days we watched The Walking Dead. Now, I'm not sure how good that was, because as you're watching, these people like get sick and die and turn into zombies, which, to be fair, my son keeps correcting me. They are not called zombies anytime in the show. They're called walkers, biters, anything else, because they don't actually go after brains, so technically they're not zombies. But anyway, all I kept thinking was, they're talking about the fever and the sweats and everything, and it's like, oh, that's how I feel. So, my son and I did not get to do any of the things we had wanted to do, like go see The Hobbit. But by the end of his time here, Missy. Oh, I'm trying not to move the camera too much because it's not exactly in the same position as it was before Tiff and I recorded, and I can't seem to get it stable. Anyway, and somebody bumping the table doesn't help. But she wants her lovies. Anyway, my son did say that he actually got to spend a lot of time with me, and that was okay with him. So we bonded over the zombie flu, as I started calling it, because I felt like the zombies. Sorry. Okay. During this time, there was not a whole lot of productivity because it didn't feel good. So the Everlasting Love shawl that I swore would be blocked by the next time I recorded, it's still in this bag. There was just no way. Even when I started to feel better, there was no way I was crawling around on my hands and knees and trying to block it. I'm not sure when it will get done. I'm going to my parents' house this coming weekend to talk to one of my son's teachers, and then I promised to take him to see The Hobbit since we missed it. And so I'm not sure when it'll get done. So now I'm past the stage of being contagious, supposedly, but I still feel really run down. And there's a bunch of people at work that are sick, and there's some people that got sick even before Christmas, and they're still feeling the same way. So unfortunately, this seems to be a long, lingering illness. So I left work a little early today. I normally leave at 4:30, and I left at 3:45, so it wasn't like crazy. But I do have one thing I wanted to show you that I finished. This actually was finished during Christmas, and I mentioned it during the last podcast with Tiff. And I said I wasn't going to show it because the friend that I'm giving it to sometimes watches. But I'm going to give this to her tomorrow, which should be before she has any chance to see this episode. So, this is the pretty thing designed by Stephanie Pearl McPhee, who is the Yarn Harlot. And it is made out of, it's Gedifra, I don't know how to pronounce it, Gedifra, I think, Angora Merino. I saw today that the company now goes under SMC Select, but they don't, so this particular yarn is discontinued. I don't know if SMC Select is going to have a comparable Angora Merino. But this yarn I picked up in Switzerland when I went last February, last winter, and when I was with my friend, and I just wanted to give it to her as kind of a memento of our trip together, because this was from the yarn store that we both went to, and also so that if she ever goes to Europe in the freezing cold part of winter again, she can have something warm around her neck. So I'm not going to put it on since I'm still kind of, but it's a dark chocolate brown, and I will post a picture at the end, but no matter what I do, if I get it dark enough for the color to be right, then you can't see the stitch pattern, so I decided to go with seeing the stitch pattern more. So, that I actually finished before break. While being sick, well, kind of right before I got sick, I had told you guys that I was going to work on the Malice in Wonderland, but Clue 2 was really wonky. Like, you were supposed to move the stitch markers all the time. Well, I sat down one day and redid the chart so that it no longer had moving stitch markers, which made my life so much easier. So I did knit through, I now have finished Clue 2. And this was the lace that was for chart 2. And I've looked at the rest of the charts. The rest of the charts aren't wonky, so I'm tempted to send the designer my updated chart if she wants to add it. If she doesn't, and I know that you are working on it and you're not asking for the whole pattern, I would be okay with sending out chart 2 to the couple people I know that were working on this and got stuck. Anyway, so this is Clues 1 and 2, and I'm going to post all the pictures at the end, because for today, that will just be easier on me. So, I did that. That was kind of, well, it was in between being sick. Oh, here's the yarn. I was trying to figure out what I did with it. This is a ball I didn't use yet. So, I used about 1 1/3 balls to do the pretty thing. They're 25-gram balls. And it's there, Gedifra, Angora Merino. So I could easily do another one, but I probably won't, because I tend not to do the same project multiple times. I also finished, for the Yarnivore February Animal Lovers Knit-Along, a snuggle blanket. Now, the snuggle blankets can be knit, crocheted, or sewn. And in fact, if you do one of each, she has a prize drawing for the trifecta. I don't sew, so I won't be doing that, but I did finish one. This is it's just out of Bernat Simple Saver acrylic. And it was done with Tunisian crochet, which is where you have a crochet and a long cord. It's also called the Afghan stitch. And essentially you start with one stitch, you chain, you have one stitch, and then you pick up a whole bunch of stitches, so you have, in my case, 60 stitches. And then you pull the yarn back through all those stitches, and you end up on the row with one stitch again. There are wonderful YouTube videos that explain that a lot better than what I just did, but there are a few different types of basic stitches. This one here is called the knit stitch because it looks like stockinette. It actually looks like, it almost looks like ribbing to me, and then it almost looks like garter on the other side. It doesn't quite look like a knit and purl, but that's called the knit stitch. And then this one is called the simple stitch. For the most part, I did the ends with the knit stitch. I started to do the knit stitch because it felt really soft and cushy and durable, but it was taking longer because the stitch doesn't increase as much per row, and since it's a pet blanket, I just decided to just go with it. If you're participating in the Snuggle blanket, the official project is in the Yarnivore podcast, and she has a pictures only thread for drawings, and she asks that you put how many snuggles are in the picture, how many yards have you done, what podcast are you supporting, and how many snuggles have you done to date. So right now, I've got one snuggle, was over 300 yards, obviously supporting DragonflySoars, and just one to date. And to be honest, I don't know if I'll do another one or not, because I might. I have enough yarn, but I mainly wanted to make sure I got one done to support Sadie. You can only, in her thread, you have to pick one podcast that you are supporting. If you want to post in our group, you can get another entry for a prize in our group. I have not picked the prizes yet for the Snuggle or for the Birthstone-a-long, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Missy's getting in trouble. I will. I just haven't felt up to it. And I didn't want to delay things. So, if you post something in the Yarnivore podcast and you decide you're going to support a different podcast like Knittables, of course I would love if you wrote DragonflySoars. But even if you post and you decide to support a different podcast, you can still come over and double dip on our site, on DragonflySoars. So you can support, say, Dramatic Knits on the Yarnivore one, and then come over and double dip in ours. That's okay. So, and remember, if you do it in red this month or purple next month, if I had waited, I could have done this for purple for next month. It can be part of the Birthstone-a-long, which the Birthstone-a-long is actually going really well. There's a couple people have already posted some things. January is garnet. Again, that's our red color. February, if you're starting to think about it, is amethyst, which is purple, any purple. Now, I haven't started spinning my red fiber yet, which I'll put at the end again. But because I really wanted to get this off my bobbin, this is my fiber optic. This is the gradient yarn, so it goes, it's still a little damp. I finished it last night. It goes from the black to the dark purple to the light purple. It's about a sport weight and about just under 300 yards. I'm happy with it. I actually was doing it pretty thin and was doing really nice, and then after a while I just wanted to get it done. As I said, we watched seasons 1 and 2 of The Walking Dead. Well, my son suggested I catch up on season 3, and he said, Mom, you could finish your spinning while you watch season 3, and so that's what I did this weekend. Was I worked on finishing that. And partially because I wanted to get it off my wheel so I could work on the red for January. So my February purple will be a shawl, or shawlette probably, knit out of this. At least that's my plan. In fact, I already have it picked out, so I might as well show you. Oh, okay. I'm looking for I have a few pattern things printed out here. I have to do some thank yous. This isn't the best picture, and I saw it in some other people's projects, and then I really liked it. This is called The Topless Jazz Singer by Kyla Hurst. It is it's a shawlette, and it has a ribbon detail up here, which you're supposed to tie shut. Some people actually just used a shawl pin, but I thought that it would be pretty to go from the black to the light purple. So that will be, I'm planning on that to be my amethyst February project. Sorry. I have my sheepy mug. I made tea before I started. So, now, I did want to talk about the Birthstone-a-long, and I'm looking up the birthstones right now so I don't mess them up. Because I know some people want to plan. I know my mom has already been planning kind of what dolls she can do for different months. So she kind of has an order. So January is red, February is amethyst, which is purple, March is aquamarine, so any turquoise colors. April is diamond, which we said is going to be sparkle, and I actually think I'm going to spin one of my sparkle bats that I've been avoiding because I wasn't sure how to do them, but I think I'm going to spin one of my sparkle bats for April. May is emerald. Emerald, we're going to do dark greens, like what you really think of as jewel tone greens, evergreens. And the reason I say that is because there's another month with green. June is pearl, so your kind of bare colors, white, anything that's kind of a raw color. So that big bump of fiber that Tiff gave me, I think, I don't remember when Tour de Fleece starts, but I was thinking that would kind of be my project for June. July is more of the pink reds, so anything that's a pink or a fuchsia, one of those. August, because that's for Ruby. August is, I'm probably saying this wrong, peridot, and it's more of a limey green, so we're thinking more of spring green colors, maybe your lighter greens, your limey greens, spring greens, and all of these are just a guideline. I mean, nobody's going to sit there and go, that's not the right kind of green. This is for fun, so we're not harassing each other, as long as you know. And all these, they should be a dominant color, but September is sapphire, which is your really deep blues. October is going to be our wild card month because it's opal, and we looked online, and you can get opals in every color. So if you have something that you didn't manage to finish in one of the previous months, go ahead and finish it in October, because that's going to be our wild card month. It can be variegated, that'll be your anything goes month. November is topaz, which is your kind of oranges, rusts, things like that. Yellows, golds. And then December is tanzanite or turquoise, although that one, it's funny because March is aquamarine and December is turquoise. To me, the December looks more of like your periwinkles, your light blues. Although maybe we decided it the other way around. Tiff or Mom, you can tell me if I switched around the March and December, because we talked about it. But anyway, so I will again post the whole picture, and of course you can go on the group. But there's already people that are chatting and talking about what they're working on, and some people have already have posted finished yarn that's been spun, dishcloths. Mom posted her stripper doll. It's not really a stripper doll, but she happens to be at exactly the point where she has a bodice and a little short mini skirt, and that's it, and her stockings, and she doesn't have her full gown yet. So it was kind of funny. Anyway, so Mom's working on her doll. I'm going to work on my fiber. So now to go on to some other things. I wanted to do some thank yous. One is not really a thank you to a person, but Tin Can Knits had a Share the Love post or sale. So, and all they asked was that you can get a free pattern by using a coupon. And I don't remember how long the coupon goes for, but somebody started a thread in our group, so it's easy to find, for Tin Can Knits. And all they said was, if you're going to use the code, also spread the word, spread the love, tell other people about the free code. So it was like Plurk and Ravelry, and I got some private messages. Several people were talking about how Tin Can Knits had a free pattern, so which was very nice of them. So I downloaded this snowflake pattern, which is a sweater pattern. Now it's interesting, and I printed a different page because I like this one for showing. The pattern is for adults and children. So it has a whole range, and it says to use brighter colors for kids maybe, and more subtle changes for adults. But it has sizes from 0 to 6 months through 11 to 12 years for kids, and then ladies extra small through 4XL. So basically it has chest sizes from 19 to 58 inches, and the size chart is just huge. I mean, there's like every size in there, and it has the chest measurement, the sleeve measurements, the hem to underarm, and how much yardage you need of each color. It looks to be a really well put together pattern. I don't know when I will knit it at this point, but I just thought it was a really cool pattern, and I wanted it in my collection. So there was also some patterns I was gifted as part of Random Acts of Pattern around Christmas. So this one, where it's from Legal Girl, and this is the Alyana pullover by Amy Herzog, and I really like this cable detail. I think it's very flattering. Somebody else had asked about it on Plurk, and I added it to my queue because I ended up really liking it, and then Allison gifted it to me, so that was very nice. Roz gifted me the Tide Pool Spiral Shawl by Wendy Knits. I have actually had this in my queue and even in my Ravelry cart since Willow Fairy was doing a knit along for it, and I just never got to it. So I'm really glad to have that one. I love Wendy Knits patterns. She has a way of making things very simple. Some of the first the shawl was a Windy Knits shawl, and it was just beautifully written. I mean, it was very simple. It was like, oh, I can do that, because the charts are really small, they're very manageable, and yet it's gorgeous when it was done. I can't remember what that one behind me is now, but I'll post it in the show notes. And then Petra gifted me this fire blanket. It was funny. She gifted me this the same day I finished the Pretty Thing, and she was the one who gifted me the Pretty Thing pattern last year. It was like she knew I had finally finished it, and so... But this pattern uses 4 skeins of color-changing yarn where there's like really long color repeats. What you do, though, is you make the little modules, the little circle things, and then you arrange them and sew them together. So you don't go through one skein and then through another one. You actually knit all of your little modules, and then you kind of lay them out as you best think that they should go together. So if you have a slow color repeat, say it's like blue, green, purple, you don't go blue, green, purple from one skein and then blue, green, purple from another skein. You gather all your blues together. That's the way it's written. 4 skeins makes a baby size. There's more measurements. And I forgot what yarn they used, that they were using 4 skeins. But the other thing that I found in my office today was this Tasty Treats to Knit calendar. A friend of mine at work just thought it was cute and picked it up for me. It's got noodles and hamburgers, pizza, shrimp, not called shrimp, prawn, pita pockets, there's other things, there's pies and donuts and stuff. So each month has a different one. It's not something I necessarily would have picked up for myself, but it's just meant to be fun and silly, and she thought she thought it would make me smile, and it did. So, go look at the notes real quick. I think that's everything. Yeah, I haven't worked on the twitchy socks because I didn't go anywhere. I was supposed to go see Les Mis yesterday with a friend, and I didn't feel up to it. Okay, that is everything, except that I'm also going to post a picture. You guys saw the yarn that I spun for Tiff for Christmas? Well, she actually did knit the For Good hat that was designed by Megan of Stockinette Zombies. And so I will post a picture of the finished hat here. And then I think that is it. So I will talk to you guys all later. Hopefully I didn't cough your ears off. I'm hoping I catch them, but if I did, I'm sorry. And I will see you guys next week, hopefully feeling better. Bye now.